In this video, we're going to build a JavaScript Discord bot and have a NoSQL database backend in the cloud. Let me show you. If I run the command !profile, it brings up my profile. And you can see behind me, the console outputs the data, and in Discord is displayed beautifully. Let's change the data. With the bio command, we could say, my name is Eddie, and it's been updated. And if we run the profile command again, you can see now the bio has also been updated, which is great. We know the data is being stored in the database, but we can also do things like this. We could bring up someone else's profile. So here's one I prepared earlier, and Alex, thank you so much for being my guinea pig. As you can see, Alex has no bio, but has set his GitHub and his LinkedIn links. If that sounds interesting to you, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe below, and let's get into the video. As I mentioned, in this tutorial, we're going to be building a Discord bot with JavaScript, and we're going to persist the data using Astra's serverless database. We'll do a hello world with a Discord bot first, and then we'll add our custom commands, and then we'll save the user's bio and social links in the database, and then retrieve the data from the database. You will see how quickly you can get a hosted JSON database up in the cloud for free. This is great for hackathons, side projects. Then if your project takes off, you only pay for what you use because it's a serverless database. And their free tier is super generous with 30 million reads, 5 million writes, and 40 gigs of free data, approximately, which is awesome. Let me explain the stack to you. Discord bot, you've probably heard of. JavaScript, I'm pretty sure you've heard of too. But Astra, you might not have heard of. So we're going to give a bit of context into what that is and why it benefits you. A little bit about me first. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel and welcome to Eddie Hub. I'm a self-taught full stack developer with over 15 years experience. I'm a GitHub star and I was a GitHub star of the year. That's 1 out of 55 million people on GitHub. My goal is to help you accelerate your skills and grow your network so that you can get the job and clients and money that you deserve. If that sounds interesting to you, you know what to do. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe below. Let me give you some context on Astra, as that will be the database that's powering our Discord bot. DataStax built a data API gateway in Astra to give us app developers a natural data API stack which meshes with the Jamstack or any other JavaScript front-end stack of your choice. Astra is built on a rock-solid NoSQL data engine, which you've probably heard of, Apache Cassandra, which powers Netflix, Instagram, Yelp, iCloud, and other apps that we use every day. It is an open source project. No surprise there. This is me here. Astra is built on Stargate, which is an open source data API gateway that sits between your app and your database, which allows you to skip defining schemas up front if you wish, or not learn Cassandra's specific query language by supporting API options, which makes it easier for new developers and, well, everybody. So we can focus on the app that we're trying to build. Underneath is a NoSQL database, Cassandra. Apache Cassandra is linearly scalable, highly available database that was born in the cloud at Facebook. It writes fast, reads fast on the primary and secondary index database, which might sound scary. But what if I could tell you it is as easy as a HTTP request? Because Astra has made Cassandra really straightforward, and serverless makes it even simpler. Let me explain a little bit more. You can connect to Astra via native Cassandra query language if you want to, but you can also use the popular GraphQL API, and you can use standard RESTful API requests or JSON Documents if you don't want to define a database schema up front, which is what we're going to be doing in this video. You will see with a few lines of JavaScript and a few clicks on the Astra platform, we can get a database up in seconds. Schemaless database is so easy to get started and can get you really far. If your app gets to Netflix level global scale, or you know you're designing for that to begin with, having a schema defined up front is a secret sauce in achieving that level of scale. But it isn't needed, and you can always change this later. Let's start schemaless. That is what we're going to do in this video, so we'll keep it simple and still super powerful. Whichever you pick, you can always change it later. Your data will still be there. If you want to play with a database without even any code, there is a Postman collection that you can use. Right, so now you understand what Astra is. What about the serverless part? Astra does all the database setup and operations, so you can just get going developing. And to connect your app, it is super easy. Now that I've cloned the repo locally, navigated into that directory, run code space dot to open VS Code in that directory, I've created a source folder with index.js with nothing in it. So let's just do hello world, make sure everything's working okay. So if we say console.log, hello world, and run npm start, hello world appears, it's all working okay. Next, we want to install Discord.js. Now that's installed, we can start using Discord.js. In their docs, we can say, get your bot up and running. Let's have a look. So logging into Discord. So now we've imported Discord and we've got a client. Next, we want an event when the client is ready. And we'll just do a console log as well there too. And then we also want the client to log in. Let me minimize this on the side so we can get a bit more space. So I'll say log in, and I already have the environment variable already, as I mentioned earlier. So it's process.env, and in our case, I've called it Discord bot token. Now, if I save that and run it with npm start, we should hopefully see ready in the console. And we see ready. So now we know it's connected to our Discord and the connection has been successful. Discord does have some great documentation on where to get your token from, setting up your bot as an application, adding it to your server. So do go have a look at that to get your token. But make sure you don't commit your token to your project. It should be in an environment variable or an environments file, and they have that in their documentation where you can't accidentally commit it. So next, let's get a command working within Discord to our bot. So next we will want another event. So it'll be client on message. So on every message, let's run this function. And this function could be console.log again, just to see what the message is. And let's save that and let's restart the application. It's up and running. Let me bring Discord over so you can see. So if we do a test hello world, we can also see in the console log that hello world from the Discord has actually appeared in our console where our app is running locally. So now we know we have Discord and our bot all working together. Next, let's do a command. So our bot only does an activity when a match command is typed in Discord. And then we'll add the database and actually start saving some of this data. And we can actually move these out. So this file will get quite busy. So we can actually move this out to external files. So let's do that now. And we'll create a new file called bio. So let's define a constant for what the prefix will be. And in this case, let's make it $!bio. Then we want to do a check. If the message context starts with a prefix, then we actually want to do something. So in this case now, if there is a match, it should put command matched. So let's run that and find out how it works. npm start. So now if I type hello world again, nothing should happen as we expect. But if I type the command bio, we should expect command match. So now we're only listening for specific commands. What we want to do next is actually have a command take a parameter so that we can save that in the database. And I know we haven't connected the database yet, but once we've got it, we can easily add it to the database. And once we've got the database connected, we can easily add more and more commands for reading and writing and updating. And you're going to love it. It's super exciting. So what we want to do is remove the command out of the contents of the message. So we're left with the argument. And we can do that by finding the length of the prefix, and we can trim it to make sure we have no blank spaces. And because this command needs an argument, we're only going to do something, we're only going to perform an action if there is an argument. Let's save that and try again. So if we do hello world, nothing happens. If we do bio with no argument, nothing happens. But if we do bio with my name is Eddie, you can see my name is Eddie appears in the console log. So now again, we've got a command working, but we've also got it working with an argument too. And you can always give it an error message to say, no argument's being passed, please try again. It gives the user feedback. It's better to have that better user experience. And to send a message back in the channel to do that, we could do something like this. If there is an argument, we're going to say profile updated. But if there isn't one, we can say no data was provided. So let's try that again. If we write any test message, nothing should happen. Brilliant, as expected. And if we do bio with no parameter, it says no data provided back in Discord. So we're not looking in the logs anymore. And then if I do one with a parameter, my name is Eddie. And now we can say profile updated. So now our bot is returning to the user the state that it's in. And at the moment, we're not saving anything, so nothing has been updated, but we're going to add that in a moment. Next, let's add a database. Let's get persistent data. And you're going to see how straightforward it is to use this. This is so going to be my go-to for any hackathons that I go to. Free hosting, easy to get started with NoSQL database. Let's have a look. So what you need to do is you need to log into DataStax. The link is in the description below. You can create an account or you can log in with GitHub or Google. I always log in with GitHub. A link will be in the description below. And on your dashboard, it gives you some stats. I have a test database and I have various key spaces as well. So at the moment, we're going to be using the Discord key space. What's great about this, in the connect section, it actually gives you documentation straight away in the control panel. So you can go and find the documentation you want from Node to plain JavaScript, Java, etc. and so on. It's really, really interesting. So I want to follow their documentation in another part of their site. It's a really nice example to how to get CRUD working. I really like it. So it talks about exporting the data that you get in your console, which I'm not going to show you my tokens. I want you to get your own, but it explains where you can get it from. And the three that you need are the Astra DB ID, and you also need the region, and you need your DB application token as well. And once you've got that, you can get started. So let's try that. So first of all, we will install the npm package Astra.js collection. And there's so many ways, remember, you can connect to Stargate. You can use the SDK, but you can also go over REST. You can also go over GraphQL. You can also go over native Cassandra queries as well. I'm going to keep this simple, go over the SDK using their npm package collections. Now I've got that installed. Let's get started. My tokens are already in my environment variables just so I don't accidentally show them to you. So let's import the create client from Astra.js collections. Thank you for that autocomplete. And underneath the Discord client, let's create the Astra client. I want to be lazy and copy and paste those to save time. Let's wrap this in an async function so we can run the awaits and asyncs, which we all love to use. Next, I want to get the profile collection. And we will use our namespace Discord with our profile collection. And what I want to do is pass that in to the bio function so we have it available. And we will need to make this async. And then we'll also add in an extra parameter, profile collection. Mustn't forget to make that async as well. So now if all the conditions are happy, we want to save this data, and you can do it with a create, but let's do it with an update. So therefore in the future, if people are making updates, it will then just update the data. From the documentation, you will see for a create, you can do it so that it automatically creates document ID for you, or you can specify the ID yourself. So in this case, we're going to specify the ID ourselves. And like I said, instead of the create, we're going to use update. We are going to specify the ID, and the ID is going to be the Discord ID of the author. And then for now, let's just pass the bio with the argument. But it would be nice to have a bit more information, so let's add a little bit more. Let's also pass the name of the author as well. Bringing it out from Discord using your own account, this will already be there in the bot. But when we bring it out for other people, this will be really interesting. I'm going to show you, stay tuned. Okay, let's start up the application. Let's open up Discord. This time with the bio command, it should be saving our information. My name is Eddie. Profile updated, but we've got no way to check. So let's add another command where we can get our profile. Just add it to the source directory. We'll call it profile. And it's going to be very, very similar to before. We're going to duplicate this line. And it's going to be on message, and we're going to pass in the message to the function. It's going to be called profile, and we want to pass in the message and also pass in the profile collection. So that all's pretty similar. We will just need to add an extra import up here for a file we're going to create in a second. We've created the file already. We'll add the contents to the file in a moment. So the profile file is going to be quite similar. So I want to cheat and copy the beginning parts just to save you time watching me type it all out. So now we're starting this file with a little bit of boilerplate. We'll change this to profile, and we'll also change the command to profile. And this command can be anything you want. The prefix can also be anything you want. To begin with, let's not have a parameter for profile. We can just get our own profile, and later on we can get the profile of other people. So let's have a look. So going back to the documentation, let's see how we do a get. We don't need to do a find, we just need to do a get. So let's keep that very, very similar. Constant profile. We want to await the profile collection. It's going to be a get, and we're going to get on the message author ID. We want to check if there is a profile found. And if there is, we'll want to do a console log of the profile, and we'll send it back to the user in the moment. Let's just do a console log, make sure it's working. So in this case, we do profile. And hopefully you can see behind me, our profile has appeared. And I've populated some data already. So you can see I've got LinkedIn, I've got my name, I've got GitHub, but the bio has been updated because this is what I wrote. And we'll do this in a second. If you don't believe me, let me try again. Bio, this is a live message. And then if I call back my profile again, you can see behind me, this is a live message. So we're actually working with a database. Did you see how simple and straightforward it was to work with a database that's serverless? So you only get charged for what you use. And it's Cassandra. It scales massively. It's what Facebook uses and so many other massive companies. Yeah, it's not that complicated. Right, let's start sending some of this data back to the user. What we can do from the Discord is you'll notice there is an embed section where you can return data rather than just a string. You can also return some nice data. So let me just return the string that we saved a moment ago. So profile.bio. And then if we start the application up again, instead of putting it in the console log now, I'm not going to save it again. It will remember it from last time because it's a persistent database. If I run this, we actually now see this is a live message. And if I update that and change it without restarting the application, my name is Eddie. And then I run the command profile, my name is Eddie. So this is persisted in the database. But we can make this a lot prettier. If you look at embedded, we can actually make it look a lot nicer. So let's have a look at some of the documentation. Let's use part of it. Let's set the title and let's make it the person's name. And you know what? We can also set a thumbnail preview as well because we do have their avatar. And then instead of returning the string, let's return the embed. Start the application again. Let's see how that looks. Have we just run the profile command? Data is already saved. We have an error. Did I spell something wrong? Discord. Oh, that's auto-completed wrong. That's also auto-completed wrong. There we go. Autocomplete is great, but sometimes it's painful. Let's try again. Okay, let's start the application. And then if I go get my profile, you can see now it returns my name and my picture. Let's get some of the other information, the bio, the GitHub, the LinkedIn URLs out. And then I have left the argument here, and I've left it there for a reason. We're going to get to that in a moment. This is where we start interacting with other users and it gets really exciting. So have a look at the documentation, and we probably want to add a field or multiple ones. We'll do a loop on that. So let's see what allowed socials we want to allow. So let's make a constant at the top again, and we'll just say allowed data, for example. It will be an array, and we want bio, for example. We also want to have GitHub information, and we also want the LinkedIn information. So let's come down here, and let's, on this array, let's do a for each. We use a nice ES6 style functions. So if the profile has this item, then let's add it as a field. Yes, Lint's saying the line was too long, which it was. So now it's on multiple lines. So we see it's going to loop around each item we have mentioned up here, bio, GitHub, LinkedIn, and it's going to add it if it exists, because it might not exist to everybody. People might have only populated, say, their GitHub, but not their LinkedIn, or vice versa. And then it's still going to send it back to Discord. So let's try that and have a look. So now if I do profile again, you see it has my GitHub, my LinkedIn, and it has my bio. So it has that sort of information. But now what happens if other people want to get this information of my profile? What we can do is pass an optional parameter. So if no parameter is passed, the bot assumes that it's trying to get my information or that other person's information, whoever ran the command, the author of the command. But if, let's say, user ID is passed, then it will get the profile for that user. And there are a couple of ways this can be done. We could use the @ symbol and tag somebody, but the downside of that is each time you get someone's profile or someone gets your profile, you're going to get a Discord notification, which we don't want. So for now, what we will do is we will right click on the person and go copy ID, and we will use that at the moment to get their information. We could change this in the future. I'm open to ideas. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Also add to your comment what ideas and features you would like to see on the Discord bot. So what we could do now is pass an argument. So we will say arg. So if an argument is passed, use that. If it's not passed, then use the author of the message. Let's give that a go and try. So in this case, I'm going to do profile with no ID. It should get my information. Perfect. Let me go get an ID. Here's an ID I prepared earlier. Let's grab someone's ID. We'll copy Alex's ID. Alex, thank you very much for helping me test the bot. And now if we use the same command, but we pass in Alex ID, and we hit enter, now you get Alex's picture, Alex's username, GitHub link, and LinkedIn. So if I click on the GitHub link, you can see it goes to Alex's profile, who has an awesome profile, does so many great things in the community. Don't forget to go give Alex a follow on GitHub. Alex's GitHub link is in the description below. So now we've got it saving, updating, and retrieving data from the database. We could do so many more things. We could add more socials to be saved. The code for this project is obviously, it's me, it's open source on GitHub. There's a link to that in the description below. And I've actually got the repo behind me on GitHub. And I wanted to show you some other awesome things about this repo because we've done some amazing automation with your help. Yes, the Eddie Hub community have really helped to improve this repo. And there's still more improvements to go. So any ideas, raise an issue, start a discussion, and let's make those improvements. I know what you're thinking. You're super excited. You want to go and build your own bot or your own API, and you want to use a serverless database called Astra. There's a link in the description below where you can just log in with your GitHub account, create a database, and it will give you the tokens that you need just to get started. And there's documentation on the control panel for Python, for JavaScript, for all the examples that you need. Get started. Let me know in the comments below what you're using your database for and how you found it, and I'll be really keen to geek out with you. If you are still here, then give this video a thumbs up, subscribe below, and I really appreciate your support. I look forward to geeking out with you on open source between live streams and videos in our Discord. And yes, there's a link to that below in our description. I'll see you in Discord. So next we want to install Discord.js. Next we want to install Discord.js.